Guys, welcome to today's video. Today I'm doing a roundup of the foundations that I have reviewed recently. This is something I've been wanting to do for a little while, but because I've been reviewing so many and I do 3-day wear tests, I didn't have the time to revisit each one of these just to see what my final conclusions might be. Also, there are 2 new foundations out. One I'm going to get a sample of, and the one is the Kosas, but this color is very awful. So I've ordered 3 more. I just got the notice today that it shipped, so it won't be here for a little while. So those 2 other things, which is the Makeup Forever New HD and the Kosas, will be coming later. But I do have thoughts on this, and I think I'm going to do just a shorty on this one later on. I don't have any makeup on, and this is a visual medium, so I thought, you know what, why don't I put on one of these foundations while I'm talking to you about my experience. I don't know if this is going to work out or not, but we're going to try. So today's going to be one of those days, you guys, the sun is in and out, and it will sometimes look really pretty like now, and then the sun will go away and my hair will look a very odd color and I will look very odd. So what I'm going to put on is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin in shade 4, and this was the first one that I had tried out of all of them. I'm just going to do a pump and a half, and you can see it's a little bit runny. And Charlotte Tilbury, it seems, has expanded her range because I've never had luck with her foundations. The colors were always slightly off, and I feel like this one is great. I'm going to use a brush, which I usually do not do, but it sure makes things a lot faster. And I'm not going to talk about this one first. I'm going to talk about the Chanel No. 1 Red Camellia Foundation. The last few Chanels that I tried, I really had issues with. The Healthy Glow had something in it that did not agree with my skin, and when I washed my face every night, it was beet red. So that one was also fussy, where there was something special about it, but I didn't love it. But the minute I powdered it, and it was so shiny I had to, it lost whatever that something was about it. And then the one they released about 7 months ago, the color was hugely orange. This one was actually very pretty, and I have some notes from when I put it on again. It diffuses the skin beautifully. It builds well, so if you have something extra you need to hide, you can do just a little bit of area and it doesn't look like a patchwork on your skin. It plays well with others. The color, however, is too light and too warm. And that's one of the things I like about coming back and trying things again, because the light is different. The sun is in a different position in the sky because we're, moving into spring. Believe it or not, if you're from a northern state, you might be cursing the winter, but we've had some really hot days, like in the high 80s today and yesterday, not so much, but it's coming and the light has changed. And I guess I should say something really important. One, what is my skin type? I'm 59 years old, that's my skin type. I'm not producing the same amount of oils, hyaluronic acids, ceramides, elastin, collagen, all the things that make your skin look youthful and plumped. I'm going to post right here my skincare, and that shows you the kind of things that I put on in the morning before I go ahead and do my foundation. I don't have flaky skin, but it can be kind of dry. I can be sensitive to certain ingredients, but I'm not exactly sure what the ingredients are. Zinc, for sure, irritates my skin. Well, it depends on the formula. Sometimes I'm okay with it, sometimes I'm not. But my skin can be a little bit sensitive. I'm just not oily, you guys. And so I'm very sensitive to products that might dry my skin. When you get that tightening feeling on your face, that means it's drying everything out. Tight skin is dry skin. So I'm looking for decent coverage because I have a lot of redness in my face and I want to get rid of that. And I guess those are the things you need to know. Another thing you need to know, I lied. Color is everything. When you're going on with a light coverage. You can get away with a color that's not quite right, although I prefer not to. But when you get into the medium range, you can have the most beautiful finish, the most beautiful formula, but if the color is wrong, you're going to look like you're wearing makeup. And I think what we all really want in our heart of hearts is to have perfect looking skin that looks like it's actually our skin, right? If it's the wrong color, you've already killed your chances of that happening, no matter how beautiful the foundation is. So this is just my thing. My skin is different than your skin. Of course, not only the kind of skin we have, but the color of our skin. For me, this is a pretty good color. It feels right now with this kind of light, it might be a little bit dark for me, but it's not atrocious. You bring it down the neck a little bit and you're doing fine. I wouldn't go too far going under the neck because it's not transfer proof. And transfer proof is something that usually means long wear, and it usually means matte, which is a shame because matte usually means drying. But I really like to protect my clothes because foundation is really hard to get out of your clothes. So this is on with a brush, and I don't think I did the brush when I did the review, and I will put my original review right up here. The Chanel, I loved it. I really, really did. And it was interesting when you powdered it down, it stayed matte. And I used the By Terry, and usually you guys, I don't have that experience with the By Terry. Usually the By Terry takes down the shine a little bit, and a few minutes later, shines right back. So it was interesting that it stayed on the matter side for me. I mean, take a look what we're dealing with here all day long. And I really kind of like that because it means that that's a foundation that I can have some flexibility with. I can not powder it and have something more shiny, or I can powder it and have something closer to matte. But there was something about the color that I couldn't get next to. And it wasn't until I tried it again after reviewing all of these 3-day wear tests, I looked in the other room, and it was a bright sunny day, and it occurred to me, and this can be very, very confusing, that kind of throws your eye. It was both too light at B20 and too warm. Now, they have a BD, which is beige doré. I'm not sure if it's doré or doré, but that I think means sun. So that's warmer. The B is just beige, and then there's BR, beige rose. The beige rose colors generally don't work on me. Foundations with pink undertones make me look very ruddy. And that's how you know if you actually have that undertone. If it doesn't work on you, it looks wrong. I don't have a pink undertone. I just have surface pinkness. I mean, take a look at these arms. They ain't pink. They're really, really white. And, you know, my legs, they don't have any pink. I do have some yellow. So the beige doré wouldn't really work for me. But the beige was a little too warm for me. So I don't think that there will be something in this range that will work for me. Maybe I'll try it again in the shade 30, and I'll use the LeBlanc in it. But still, the 30 in Aqua Lumiere is still too warm for me. Although I have worn it in the summer before, so maybe this will be a summer shade. No matter how much sunscreen you wear, or me anyway, I will get a little bit warmer as the months go on because I do actually have a yellower undertone, but it's just a little bit of yellow, and I do get a golden tan if I were to tan. So, loved it. But for me, the color is a problem. That's just me and Chanel. It's not like the last Chanel where the color was a problem because there was really a problem with it. It was just Chanel colors aren't quite it for me. This blush went on without any pulling or issues, and my face is unpowdered. I'm trying to time this so I'm done with my face by the time I'm done, so I'm putting on more products than I normally would for a regular day. But this is the Charlotte Tilbury shade, and I was going to say Shade and Illuminate, Bronze and Glow. But this, I think, is a great color for contouring. Okay, the Dior Matte. The Dior Matte is a new formulation, and I had never tried the original formulation. Usually, mattes are not something I want to do, but I feel like it's something that's kind of missing in my foundation wardrobe, and I do look at it like a wardrobe. I'm like, maybe I should have something matte for a special occasion. If I'm going out someplace special at night, this hasn't happened in years, but maybe my life will suddenly change and I will be going out more at night, and I just want to look so perfected and so elegant. I would probably want to do a matte, especially a matte like that isn't bone dry and makes your skin look like there's chalk all over it. There's a teeny bit of radiance that comes through. And I think that one has beautiful coverage. Now, Dior colors and I do mesh quite well, so the color was beautiful on me. The finish was beautiful on me. It lasted all day long. It is a long wear. It is transfer proof, and those are all great things, especially if I am, for instance, going out at night and I see some people I know and I do the kissy thing or a hug. I'm not going to transfer my makeup onto their clothes. Always a good thing. I think that's where the kissy thing started, you guys. It's like, I'd love to kiss you, but I've got so much foundation on my face, we'll just do the air kiss. Going to go in with the Kosas concealer. So the Dior is lovely. And if I had that life, and if I get that life, that's something I would absolutely buy. But I do have a lot of foundations, and it would be a waste for me to buy that for the life I have right now. But it's beautiful. It's not drying. It said it all. Now this is the Charlotte Tilbury, and I think you can see that it just looks beautiful on the skin. I will probably want to powder a little bit on this, but maybe not. And I started pretty shiny because of my sunscreen, which today is the Can Make, and I will link that below. But the powders went on fantastic, even though I hadn't powdered. So it doesn't have a stickiness to it. And that was my first application with a brush, and it was lovely. I still feel that I'm getting decent coverage. Not full coverage, but really nice coverage. And it works well with my concealer. I really like this one a lot, and I'm glad that I got it. And I'm glad that I tried it with a brush, because I really like that a lot. I do think it might be a little better for me come spring, which is very soon. And then we have the new Nars foundation with the really long name. I do wish people would stop with really long names, because this is how my brain works. Okay, I'm just going to remember Nars. Forget it. It's light reflecting, skin something or other, blah, blah. You guys, that was the foundation that I was so excited to try every day. And I did try it for 3 days, and I had the color Deauville, and I found that color just was wrong. And it might have been the same kind of thing where it was too light and too warm. Several people said try Vienna, and Vienna, when I put on Vienna, I should put it on today. When I put on Vienna, I felt like it matched the redness in my face. And that's not what I want, because this redness is not naturally here. When I wake up in the morning, my face isn't red. Then I start moving around, gets a little red. I start doing my facial massage, gets a little red. I start putting on my ingredients, my skincare, and it starts to get even more red. But my face isn't naturally red, and I don't want to match that red. I did find, however, if I mixed Deauville and Vienna together, I got a very good shade. But I tried it again yesterday, and I got the ratio wrong, and it really wasn't a good shade. I'm going to do some swatches for you. All right, you guys, I'm back. I did do the Charlotte Tilbury liner with this, and this, I'll write them down below. I'll link them down below. But I also did some swatching. This is the Vienna in the Nars. This is Deauville in the Nars. This is the Charlotte Tilbury that I'm wearing now, number 4. And this is the Chanel in 20. And then for comparisons, this is the Givenchy Prism in 3250N. Even though it's neutral, it has a little bit of a coolness. And this is my Reboot. And my Reboot I don't wear this time of year because it's a little too warm for me this time of year. It's not actually too dark, I don't think, but it has a little too much yellow for this time of year. I start to get a little more goldy-y as I get just a little bit more color, so it's kind of off limits right now. I think it's Y315, and Y stands for yellow, even though they're calling it a neutral. And that's how they compare to each other. And I know for some people, you would say, these are so similar, come on. But it makes a big difference when it's all over your face and it just doesn't work with your body or your neck or your chest, your arms, whatever it is. It's just impossible to get that you have beautiful skin look versus you are wearing makeup look if your color is wrong. Color is so important. And some things you can make work because the undertone is right, even though the depth of tone is wrong. You can bronze it up a little bit, blush it up. Once everything's on, it kind of works. But these colors didn't quite make it for me. I love that Nars, and I can't get a good mix consistently. I've done this before with Nars, where I actually have upstairs their Radiant Longwear, and I bought 2 bottles, and sometimes I could get a good mix and sometimes I couldn't, and it's not something I'm interested in doing anymore. I'm more interested in telling companies, as if they could hear me, but saying, no, I'm going to stand my ground. I'm not going to buy 2 bottles. Make a good shade for me, because I cannot be the only person in the world who's this skin tone. You know what I mean? Someone else has my skin tone, and I'm sure they would be happy too. So the Nars is probably my favorite, but the Charlotte Tilbury is close. They're very, very different. The Nars is very thin, and you really are supposed to put it on one area at a time, work it in with your fingers, where with the Charlotte Tilbury, you saw, I just put it on with a brush and it was great. I did do the Nars with the brush and it worked very nicely as well, so you can also do that fast, but you'll use a lot more product because it's so thin, and so a lot of it will get into the brush, where the Charlotte Tilbury has a little bit more thickness to it. Even though it ran down my arm, it does have a thickness to it. And I would say the Dior is more like a traditional foundation. I didn't notice that kind of, it's like a comforting, it's like having a thin comforter on your face kind of a thing. The Dior is more typical, and the Chanel is more typical. But the Nars much thinner than typical, and the Charlotte Tilbury a little bit, I don't know, it's like puffy. I don't know how to explain it. It's not moussey. It just has this viscosity to it that's very, very interesting. So, you guys, that is what my thoughts are on the foundations. The Nars I like the best. It's just between you and me. I'm going to continue to go to Sephora and get samples on these and just kind of mix them on my own. And maybe I'll come to the conclusion that one shade or the other, the Deauville or the Vienna, is something I feel I can get away with. Right now, I do not feel that that's the case. But I love, love, love the Charlotte Tilbury. And I love, love, love that Chanel. I did, but it's the color. And the versatility of the Chanel is so interesting, where you see I powdered this down a little bit. There's still sheen on my cheeks. With the Chanel, it really kind of stayed. It like took orders from the powder. It was so, so interesting. The Dior, it's not for my lifestyle, but if I get that lifestyle, I'm going to get that foundation. And that's going to wrap up today's video, you guys. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. And let me know if you kind of like this format. Not that I would do it too often. And I have done it before where it was 1, 2, 3, 4, several foundations came out at the same time. And so I did a follow-up after I tried everything again to just kind of tighten a bow. But putting on the makeup while I'm doing it, is that something you like or not? Because I figure it's a visual medium and I should be doing something other than yakking. And again, let me show you these colors. Look how on my hand everything just looks so yellow, but my hand is much lighter than my face, so don't take that to heart, but it shows a good background of what kind of undertones you're getting with each one of these. And the depth of tone. So close, and yet the littlest thing makes it a no when it comes to color. Until we meet again, be safe and be smart, and I'm wishing you good health.